Hello all, welcome to a new initiative from Inside Science. This is called as MARGHADARSHAN. Myself Nikhil Gowda, the Political Science and International Relations faculty. So the idea behind this initiative is that since your prelims has ended now and most of you are looking to attend mains 2024, and one of the thing what many students will neglect with respect to answer writing is that solving previous year question. So through this initiative, in the coming 80 days in that regard, I will be solving two questions, previous year questions on PSIR every day. So I will be covering previous year questions from the previous one, that is 2023. I will be going reverse. So here I will be taking up questions from all parts, paper 1 part A, paper 1 part B, paper 2 part A and paper 2 part B. And towards the end of the session, I will be also taking up few IR related questions which are probable for the exam. That will be 10 days before the mains or 15 days before the mains. I will be doing that sessions, and this is a completely free initiative from Insights. But we will be also launching our test series as well as the crash course. The crash course will be starting from July the 11th in Delhi in that regard, and the test series for PSIR mains will be starting from June 20th. So friends, let's begin day 1. So I have taken up two questions in that regard. So I am starting with PSIR paper 1 part A. For coming 10-12 days, I will be covering all the PSIR paper 1 part A questions. So I am taken today, the first question is on Hobbes in that regard. This question had appeared in CSE 2022. So let's look into the question what they have asked and then we can get an idea that what we can write. So let's look into the demand of the question. The question says that individualism is inherent in Hobbes' absolute ideology, and they're asking you to comment on it. This is for 15 marks. So I won't give you the detailed answer, but I'll speak the structure of the answer. So the key word here is that the key word is individualism, and what they're saying, individualism is inherent in Hobbes' absolute ideology. So if you want to break down the question in that regard, they're saying that Hobbes has presented an absolute state, but the foundation of this absolute state is based on individualism. So this is what they're asking, comment on it. So basically here comment means how and why there is such a view. I need to explain this. So obviously my introduction will be about Hobbes. So I would introduce something like Hobbes, the first modern thinker. I would definitely mention about his work Leviathan, which is also called as sea monster in that regard. Why? Because Hobbes has laid down the foundation of what? An absolute state. Now you go into saying that if we investigate the Hobbes basis of absolute state, it goes down to his views on individualism. So what is individualism? Please mention here briefly. Individualism is an idea which believes that everything revolves around an individual, and individual rights are very important, such as what? Right to life, property, etc. So here what you can say, because Hobbes spoke about state of nature, in state of nature he said what? Humans by nature, you can say what, are selfish, egoistic, materialistic in that regard, and for him he believed that individual life is very important. So you can see the traces of individualism in his writing. Second one, he told, since every individual is equal, he established equality among individuals, because he told every individual is ruled by two sovereign masters, that is pleasure and pain. Hence he said, to come out of this security dilemma, individuals will sign a contract. Again you can see here the seeds of individualism, because he is not telling as a group they will sign a contract, he is saying as the individuals they are going to sign a contract. This also shows the element of individualism in him. And once the contract is signed in that regard, the sovereign is established, and here he has agreed, the individual has agreed to surrender all his natural rights. But even after the sovereign has been established, he continues to give one particular right to the individual, that is the right to life. So if the sovereign fails to protect the right to life, then an individual can revolt against the state. So in a nutshell, what we can say, Hobbes' basis of the foundations of an absolute state was based on protecting individual life, liberty. But the problem was that, what you can say, in words of Macpherson, Hobbes started as an individualist, but he ended as an absolutist. You can also bring the views of Sabine in that regard, where you can say Hobbes' absolutism is based on his individualism. Hence, in that regard, we can look at the Hobbesian Leviathan, or the foundations of his Leviathan was his concern of individualism. Hence, you can end your answer with this statement that Hobbes starts as an individualist, but he will end as an absolutist. So, this idea needs to be communicated in your answer. That's why I told you cannot write about other things. Be focused on more what is the question. If you have understood the demand of the question, then the writing the answer will be pretty easy. So let's move on to the second question for the day. The question is about explain the Aristotelian view of politics, and to what extent do you think this has contributed to the development of modern day constitutional democracy. So here are two keywords in that regard. One, they are asking you about Aristotelian view of politics. Then they are asking is that the other keyword is constitutional democracy. So here you are supposed to write how Aristotle's political ideas, or according to you, to what extent do you agree with Aristotle's ideas, have contributed to the modern day development of a constitutional democracy. So obviously you have to be able to say what are the features of a constitutional democracy. What is the features of a constitutional democracy? There is rule of law. We see about the idea of citizenship in that regard. We also see in the modern day constitutional democracies, they are also based on what? Check and balance in that regard. Modern day constitutional democracies are also based on the idea of equality, and there is a constitution, that is the rule of law is there, where a ruler cannot behave over. So in this regard, now first you start your answer by saying that Aristotle is considered as the father of political science. He is also considered to be the originator of the stream of comparative politics, because he had analyzed 158 constitutions in the world and he had brought the classification of the constitutions. And you can say Aristotle was also critic of Plato's ideas of philosopher king, where he believed that no one individual, how much ever knowledgeable he is, that absolute powers cannot be vested with him. Hence Aristotle articulated that he believed in the idea of rule of law. So he believed that any day the collective wisdom is better than the wisdom of one person. Then you can say Aristotle also spoke about civic republicanism, where he spoke about the idea of that citizens should actively participate in politics. This is also feature of one of the modern day constitutional democracies in that regard. Third one, Aristotle also spoke about the importance of rule of law, that even the ruler is bound by the law. He should act within the boundaries of the law. So you can say all these factors or all these ideas of Aristotle has led to the development of the modern day constitution in that regard. But however, now you bring the antithesis saying that we cannot agree with whatever we cannot tell completely that the Aristotelian political ideas are the foundations of present day modern day democracies. Why? Because Aristotle's ideas also spoke about, he also spoke about slavery. where he justified that inequality is natural, that some men are marked to rule, others to serve, which are not the foundations of the modern day democracies, because the modern day democracies believes in the idea that inequality is not natural, and it promotes that equal political participation. Second one, Aristotle denied women citizenship in that regard, or he told that women cannot participate in political affairs. But in modern day constitutional democracies, they believe in idea of gender equality in that regard. So here you can bring views of Robert Dahl, who has told in his book Democracy and Its Critics. In this book, Robert Dahl argues that the Aristotelian constitutional democracy is somewhat more conservative and aristocratic strain of republicanism that is found in Aristotle, whereas modern day ideas of democracy or constitutional democracy is based on the radical idea of republicanism, where it believes that all individuals, irrespective of their qualification, should be allowed to be participate in the constitutional process. But then you write, nevertheless, what we can say that Aristotle and his ideas to a great degree has shaped the development of modern day constitutional democracy. So this is what you can write in your conclusion. So always try to be very impactful in your conclusion as well as your introduction. So I hope you like this video. Please share this video with your friends. Let more number of people get an idea about how to write PSIR answers. And again, I'll meet tomorrow with 2 new questions, again the previous year questions. So this initiative of MARGHADARSHAN, that is to learn PSIR through solving PYQs. So friends, we'll end this session today and we'll meet again tomorrow for the 2 new questions or 2 previous year questions tomorrow. Till then, take care. Bye.